Here then is the very last category of argument that philosophers give. Some philosophers are hard determinists. They argue determinism is true, so we don't have metaphysical free will, and we don't have moral responsibility. So for example, here's an argument given by Peter Strawson's own son, Galen Strawson, who is also a philosopher. Galen Strawson argues that we would only be responsible for our acts if we had chosen them freely. Our acts come from our character, so we'd only be responsible for our acts if we'd chosen our character freely. But of course we haven't chosen our character freely. As I pointed out at the beginning of this lecture, our character comes from our genes, our environment, our upbringing, and so on. Our character is not chosen by us. So Galen Strawson says, we're not free. In one sense, the hard determinist is clearly right. And as I said about compatibilism, compatibilism is changing the subject. And the hard determinist is pointing that out. The hard determinist is saying, look, I was looking for metaphysical free will. That's the only thing that I'm going to accept. And the compatibilist is saying, sorry, you can't have that. So you have to have this lesser thing instead and put up with that. Compatibilists argue we should put up with that. That's all there is, and it's totally fine. But the hard determinist insists, no, it's not fine. I need more. I need free will. So now we're down to a kind of bedrock. The question is, what should we be asking for here? And that's a very hard question to answer. Peter Strawson argues we should just think about our practical aims, our practical existence. Galen Strawson insists, no, we should stick to the difficult question about metaphysical free will. Here's another observation about this debate. Hard determinists don't usually make clear how practical they intend the theory to be. What am I supposed to think about hard determinism? Am I supposed to actually give up on praising and blaming people, on holding people morally responsible, on engaging in interpersonal relationships in the ordinary way? Well, very few hard determinists say that. That doesn't seem to be what they're preaching, and certainly not what they're practicing. So then that begs the question, what is the point of this? Why are they insisting on hard determinism? And it begins to look a little bit like what they're really saying is just, we don't have metaphysical free will. But of course, that's just where we started. That's what determinism says. And if you accept the naturalistic worldview, then you're very likely to agree, yeah, determinism's true, so we don't have free will. And the hard determinist hasn't really advanced the debate by insisting on that point.